Greetings once again, fellow weebs and fellow otakus, to another video, and we are now in the month of October. You guys know what that means. We got some horror manga lined up for you. In this video, we're actually looking at a single volume edition. That being said, today we are looking at Edgar Allan's stories, a manga adaptation of Edgar Allan Poe's stories. I don't think I need to give an introduction to who Edgar Allan Poe is. If you guys don't know, you've been living under a rock, honestly. So with this manga, they actually took a lot of his more well-known and famous stories and put them into a single manga volume, and each of these stories are adapted with full artwork from different artists. So it's very awesome seeing each story have its own art style. So hopping straight into the preview, you guys can see that this is a rather thick manga volume. It's kind of like a omnibus in a sense. So this was published by Manga Classics, which is actually a publisher that releases classics of different stories adapted into manga. So I thought this was pretty neat. I actually haven't heard of Manga Classics before, but after reading this, I'm definitely going to check out what they have to offer. So this compilation of Edgar Allan Poe's stories includes the following stories. So we have The Telltale Heart, which is one of my, actually probably one of my all-time favorite stories from Edgar Allan Poe. And we also have The Cask of Amontillado. I can't say it. Amontillado? The Cask of Amontillado. I know I'm butchering that, but bear with me here. That's the second story. For the third story, we have The Raven. Now, this isn't actually a story from Edgar Allan Poe. This is a poem, because Edgar Allan Poe also wrote poems. So The Raven is actually a poem, and they adapted that into a story form. For the fourth story, we have The Mask of the Red Death, which is another top story, one of my favorites from Edgar Allan Poe. And we also have The Fall of the House of Usher, which is a timeless classic. So as you guys can see, they chose some of the very highly rated stories that are widely recognized by a lot of fans. I mean, even if you don't closely, follow Edgar Allan Poe, you've come across these stories at least once or heard of them. So quick little fun fact, I have the original storybook here that I received from my high school days. They used Edgar Allan Poe in reading studies, so I do have some of his stories here, and you guys can see this book is completely messed up. It's not in the best condition. I've had it for years, like probably more than a decade, so that speaks for itself. Overall, I don't really have any complaints about publication quality. You have some colored pages in here, as you saw in the preview, which are very nice. The one thing I really did like about this manga, which I mentioned in my introduction as well, is that each of the stories have their own kind of art style, and the art style actually aligns and kind of matches with the story that they're telling. So in terms of things that I would have liked to see improved, or things that I wasn't a huge fan of, I do want to mention that their story lineup could have been better. It's still solid. I would have probably removed The Raven, because it's not really a story, it's just a poem, and replaced that with an actual story. Last thing I do want to mention before you guys grab this manga is that it is kind of written in Old English, like some of the text is Old English. This kind of perplexed me a bit, because they could have translated it more better, just to make it flow and sound better, the text. This is kind of, I guess you could say this is like a personal issue of mine. Again, it's not a huge issue, but some of the stories, it kind of becomes a drag reading the story, because they're explaining some simple things that can be summed up within like one sentence, but you end up reading like a paragraph of it because it's written in Old English, and then it's like you kind of have to go back and reread it, because it's like, wait, what did I just read? Like, what was that sentence all about, or that paragraph? It kind of disrupts the flow of the story for me personally. I just think the manga would have excelled more if it was fully translated into more modern English, like more easy to understand, easy to follow. But that's about it in terms of things I didn't like. Again, minor complaints in my opinion. Overall, I enjoyed it. I do recommend picking it up for the month of October. I just happened to find it because I was just searching around for horror manga, or complete horror manga, and Manga Classics popped up, and I was like, what is Manga Classics? Never heard of it. So decided to check it out, and lo and behold, here we are. So that's my recommendation for the month of October. I will be bringing a few more recommendations in the next video, but thanks again guys for tuning in. If you guys like the content, please leave a like, subscribe, comment. You know, I've mentioned this before that most of the people that do watch my content are not subscribers. So if you guys like the comment and you swing by my channel every so often, just drop a like, comment, subscribe, just to show some support. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video. This is your host, Rich Taku, and I'm signing off.